The Neepawa Garden Club, also known as the Beautiful Plains Horticultural Society, is a dedicated local group that champions gardening and community beautification. Members gather regularly to share their experiences, attend informative sessions, and explore creative garden crafts, fostering a rich sense of camaraderie among gardening enthusiasts. Currently, the club is focused on enhancing a corner at Elizabeth Street by planting vibrant flowers to infuse more color and life into the area. This initiative not only beautifies the town but also strengthens community ties, encouraging residents to take pride in their surroundings. However, the club faces challenges in maintaining these flower beds. Issues such as weather conditions, weeds, and water source require ongoing attention. Thankfully, dedicated volunteers have stepped up to ensure the flower beds are well cared for, demonstrating the ultimate spirit of teamwork and commitment.
Hello,
Thumbs up.
and welcome to Coffee Chat. My name's Dave Bennet. My guests here today are Glenda MacPhee and Marsha Forgue, both flower people, I might call them perhaps, involved in volunteering around the town and making our town more beautiful. So welcome, ladies, to the show today. I hope we get some good information
Thank
about
you.
what's going on. Yes. Full disclosure, first of all, I am not a gardener. I don't like gardening even. My background goes back to when my mother forced my brother and I to weed her large vegetable garden, and we didn't understand the concept of work and appreciate the food that came on the table afterwards. So I haven't really had an interest in that particularly, but I'm sure that wasn't your background. So first of all, maybe just let me ask you, Marsha, how did you get hooked on gardening or want to do some gardening or whatever? And a little bit maybe about your yard and what you do there, perhaps?
I'm not really much of a skilled gardener. It's just a hobby. Plant flowers in the backyard and yeah, just putter around the yard. But no, I'm not a skilled gardener like the others.
Well, I'm sure everybody was not skilled to start with.
Yeah.
They may
I'm
be
learning a lot.
You're
right
learning
now.
a lot by
Yes.
getting involved with what's going on. You're on Elizabeth Street, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where you live as such. And Glenda, you're a little out of town. I know most people in town would know that, but we have viewers that are not in Neepawa. So tell us a little bit about your background and maybe your property.
I was always invited into the garden. Mom was a passionate gardener, and we were always out there with her as well. Not always liking it,
Yeah.
but you know, when you can get a nickel for a bucket of portulaca,
Oh,
it's not a bad deal when you're 5.
my mother never told me about that. She paid the nickel. She wasn't selling it.
My mom always liked flowers, but her main focus was her vegetable garden.
Okay.
And for me, I've tried that, and I still have a vegetable garden, but my passion is flowers.
It's flowers.
So I have Garden View Farm, and I've been I retired 4 years ago, so I've been flower farming for 5
For
years.
that. And you're very much enjoying that, I know. And
I am. Yes.
You always have a smile on your face. Mind you, you had a smile on your face before, so I
Try.
yeah, I'm sure. Well, that's great. Well, now, explain to me a little bit. I asked you before we went on camera about the Beautiful Plains Horticultural Society because I hadn't heard the name for a while, and I thought perhaps it had gone defunct. And the Neepawa Garden Club, you know, explain to me those two terms and how that is. You've been involved.
I've been involved in the Hort Society for many years, most of the years that I've lived here in Neepawa. And a few years ago, we started a Facebook page, and we just felt that Hort Society was a little bit too official for a Facebook
Okay.
page, so we used Neepawa Garden Club there. So we really are still the Beautiful Plains Horticultural Society. We're a member of the Provincial Horticultural Society organization, and but on posters and Facebook, we're Neepawa Garden Club.
Yeah. Well, I'd certainly agree. It sounds friendlier to me is such, that people that are, well, as Marsha is,
I was just gonna say
a beginner,
beginners.
perhaps she'd hear the word horticulture and it might scare her off.
yeah.
She's nodding her head there, so you'd made a good choice, I think, to publicize yourself as that and so on. So just tell me a little about Neepawa Garden Club. I guess there's a membership. Is there same as there was with the Hort Society?
Yep.
Do you have officers?
Exactly the same. We have our regular monthly meetings.
Monthly, okay.
We usually meet at the library, but during the summer we meet at different members' gardens.
All right.
And we were down to around 10 members for a number of years, and this year we've had more interest from others, and so our membership is over 20.
20 now.
I think 24, 25 members right now.
Well,
so
that's
that's
good.
pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure it is to double your membership. Well, you mentioned COVID, how things have really, things fell apart during COVID in lots of ways, although you'd have thought an outside activity like gardening should have survived COVID maybe better than other things. But it did affect people mentally as to what they wanted to do.
I think lots of people took up gardening during that time.
Okay.
I think it became more popular, and there's definitely more interest again.
And now they've heard about the Neepawa Garden Club, and I mean, it's pretty easy to go to a meeting. You do projects, you have speakers, you do lots of things, do you?
We have speakers. We try to alternate educational and craft-like activities during the winter, and I think that brought quite a few people in that way. But in summer we also have a focus of working on different garden beds around town, and for a number of years because our membership was so small, we took care of only the Roxy bed, the little
the MTS, between the Roxy and the MTS building.
Yes, that little space there,
Right.
and we've worked on gardening there, but with more members we've been able to expand that a little bit.
Okay.
So we're also trying to restore, I guess, the MTS bed, which is right beside the Roxy. The Lily Festival started that one
Right, yes. Okay.
many years ago, and as you know, Lily Festival isn't functioning any longer, and so any parks and beds that they had started were slowly just giving way to quackgrass
Yes,
and
of
other
course,
weeds.
yeah. The Lily Festival was always coming up the third week in July, I guess it was, so you had to get the place looking good and so on, so there was impetus to get at that.
I was working for the Lily Festival the summer that we started the MTS bed.
Okay.
So that was kind of my thing, so I've really felt we need to keep that one up as well. So I put a lot of work into that one. But and Gertrude Williams Park is maintained by Donna Huck and Leona Terrian.
And that's the one for people that maybe
That's
don't
the
know,
one
is on the highway.
on Main. Yeah.
On Main Street, the highway going through town, number 16, about 3rd Street, I guess. It would be on the corner of
between
3rd.
yeah. And so that one hasn't been left to the weeds as much. Those ladies have done an amazing job there, and so it's been kept up. That one was donated by the Williams family.
Yeah, they had that property. Lived there. The kids,
probably
kids
25 years ago.
Yeah, the kids grew up there and so on. Yeah, that's right. Now the town does have a bit of an interest there because do they pay for the water and the hydro that's there and so on?
No,
you know?
I
They
think
used
that
to.
still comes out of a Lily Festival fund.
Okay,
There's a
which
small.
probably
It's gradually
leftover dollars from the Lily Festival.
and it's just gradually shrinking because there is
because
that
of that.
annual fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's great that those gals are doing that, and whoever else they conscript,
Yeah.
I guess.
And then there's
help
a
with that.
water system there
There is, yes.
that still continues. So
that's the only one with a water system?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest has to be hand watered.
Yeah. MTS bed isn't watered. Roxy is never watered. Then we go up to Elizabeth Park.
The Elizabeth Street Park, which we do want to talk a little bit more about, but it started by the Lily Festival. Again, the property was donated by...
No, I don't think it was donated. I think the town owned it and decided it wasn't large enough to build anything on.
There's a plaque on the park.
Yeah.
But
It
it's
says the homestead of the Sprague.
Sprague
Sprague,
family.
Sprague,
Yeah,
Sprague,
Sprague
that's
family
correct.
lived there. That was the house, but and family donated the light fixtures.
Okay.
But I don't think the land was actually donated by a family. But I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
I
Anyway,
think it
it's-
was town
the town
owned.
now owns it now, that's
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah, it was developed into quite a large feature during the
was.
Lily Festival. A lot of work went into that, and a lot of people helped and maintained it and made it beautiful for the festival. And so
Julie
on.
Barillo was amazing
One of the
in
keys.
developing and maintaining that space. And then Denise Tinkler did it for a number of years as well.
Okay.
But after she moved away, then the quackgrass moved in. So it's it's just yeah. Do you want me to continue on that line?
Well, we'll talk about the Elizabeth Street Park. That I know you want to re-beautify it, and that's kind of how Marsha's got involved. Tell me how you got her hooked or linked in.
Well, in last year, Brent Hunter and I already were talking about that park and what we could do to maintain it. Both of us had large gardens ourselves, and
Right.
we're just not able to do it. We weren't at that time. We only had 10 members in our hort club, and didn't feel we could ask them to do any more there. So Brent referred to Beausejour Daylily Gardens, and what they do to maintain their large area there is they have garden angels. So people volunteering to take a section and
Okay.
maintain that area. And so that's what he thought we could do up at Elizabeth
There.
Park. And when we made the invitation, enter
the Facebook
Marsha.
post.
And that was through Facebook, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
because I know Marsha's on Facebook. She
Yeah.
reads it. Don't be sheepish about it.
She gets things happening.
She not only uses Facebook to get things happening, when she hears there's things needed to be happening, she's one of the first ones to jump up and say, pick me, pick me.
And when she met us up there, well, by that time Brent was gone,
Yes,
unfortunately.
Brent, for
so
those that don't know, Brent sadly passed away a couple of months ago here, and we miss him greatly, not only as a friend of the community, but in the gardening community in particular.
he left a huge hole.
Yeah.
So I just felt that we needed to continue that vision of his and make it happen. So I posted looking for people, and actually when Brent and I were up there in fall, working on it, somebody walked by and we mentioned what we thought might happen, and that person actually said, well, sign me up, I'll take that bed right there.
Oh, really?
So we already had somebody volunteer in fall, so it was a start. And then I posted on Facebook, and that's where Marsha came, and she met us up there, and she said, well, I'll take right up to there, and I was really quite flabbergasted because I knew
Well, she's
how
a
much work
rookie.
it
She
would
didn't
be.
know how much work it was going to be.
I learned afterwards. I said, me and my friends were going to do that. And my friend actually said, why did we take so much?
Well, you
But
have
I'm learning.
so many friends. You could do that, and all of a sudden you'd have a whole new group of people working on a particular area,
Yeah,
which
so
is the
no.
kind of person that Glenda's looking for.
And it's been very good. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I like to.
Yeah,
Go
to
up
just talk a
there.
little bit about the joy. Well, I know the joy of volunteering. I've talked to you before, but in particular the outdoor flower bed volunteering.
You know, I actually been finding it like a stress reliever
Okay.
and relaxing. Like even my husband Gary was just like, one morning I was there. Went at 7 a.m. on Sunday. He's like, "You're crazy," and I was like, "I actually am really enjoying it. Like, it's been really good." And I know it has lots of work to do, but to see progress when you're making something is
Well,
rewarding.
that's right. The progress is.
Yeah.
And you have to keep at
And
it.
you feel like you have to keep going because there's no end. It's a big sea. So if you just have a section, you just have to keep going. So then
Going.
it's finished.
Yeah, well, then next week, next month, whatever, the weeds are back, right? They don't.
Yeah,
take
Exactly.
I went
That's-
watering this
that's the
morning, and
problem.
there's some already. So
The
yeah,
quackgrass.
Yeah, a little
The
bit.
grass is going to come up. It's going to continue to come up. So that's why when Marsha started asking for plants, and I went, whoa, just put the brakes on because we need annuals that we can, dig out and deal with the grass that's going to come up, rather than putting perennials in. Because once a perennial roots, it's really hard to get the grass out of it.
And
So
we had to take
Oh,
some of the
amongst- oh, I
perennials
see
out
what you
because the
mean.
grass was. So that is something I learned like right
Okay.
away.
Yeah, I would have thought
Um,
annuals would be smarter because then you wouldn't have to plant new stuff all the time. Or
Oh,
perennials.
Perennials.
Perennials, I meant.
Yeah.
financially, it makes
Yes.
total sense because we can get perennials from people around and not have to purchase as many, whereas annuals, you're doing it continuously every year. But as far as dealing with the weeds first, we've got to get
Yeah.
that.
So
It looks
you,
really good right now.
you are looking for more people.
We are, so that Marsha doesn't have to take as much. I mean, she's gone beyond where she said she was going to go to, and one section still has silage tarp underneath it. So
Okay.
we're going to leave it that way just to try and kill off that grass, and hopefully, maybe in fall we can start removing that and start putting perennials in there.
And it's not too late to volunteer, obviously.
No, it certainly isn't.
You know,
There's
they can-
always work to be done.
Yeah, they can call Glenda. Your phone number, are you prepared?
Yeah, 476-0803.
0803. That's a 476 number that you can call Glenda and volunteer. She seems to be the head of this operation, I'm sure. So she,
Yeah, I'm always asking questions. I just
if
our go-to.
Glenda doesn't know the answer to it,
And-
she'll find somebody.
And
who
you
does.
don't have to be a gardener to do it.
No.
That's the point.
I can meet you up there and give some guidance, or there can be things like watering, there can be things like edging, weeding. What were some of the other things we talked about?
Mulching.
Mulch is
basically
pretty much
done
everywhere now.
Yeah. Sometimes like even cleaning out in the shrubs. I still have one area
Yes,
left I was going to
yeah.
go do today.
Watering. What about watering?
Deadheading the
deadheading.
because like with
deadhead.
planting
The
the
spent.
annuals this year. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to water
See,
more.
deadhead to me is
Removing the finished blooms.
right. To me, the term means you're not doing anything. Because I was a waiter on the CPR during my university years, and when you had to get from A to B, but you weren't working, you were deadheading.
Well, the
Oh.
plants aren't doing anything until they're
I
deadheaded.
guess that's it. It's a similar term. The plants aren't doing anything, but you will be.
Hedge trimming's another one that,
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yes.
can be added in
So
there.
what about equipment? Would I have to have a hedge trimmer, or could I volunteer? Could somebody else volunteer? Be careful, David. You don't like this, remember?
I could
Somebody
supply
would
one.
have one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever. We could find
Yeah.
one.
We
somebody-
have a few club tools, but it's hard to figure out just what to do with it to make them available for people.
I'm sure. Yes. Yeah.
Um,
And then
we don't-
you have to get them back, of course, right?
Well, that's the problem. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want them walking away.
And I know the town has cut it in half, the park, right?
Say
But
that
it's still
again?
But
like it used to be even bigger at the flower garden.
So they've put to grass. You mean
they
the
put
other
it to
half?
grass, but in doing so, they also removed the irrigation system.
Oh,
So there's water source there. There's still
right. There's still the water.
the
source.
water, but there is no irrigation system. So somebody has to go and set up the sprinkler. During the heat of the summer.
And-
So far, we're good.
Yeah, it's been a good.
Yeah, I get a little
spring
worried
for
about
that,
the
isn't it?
petunias, but
Yeah.
I went today.
So they accidentally.
No, it was removed.
Because probably it was.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, we won't. It was removed. All right.
It was removed.
Yeah, so it did have a. Then there were the only two, the Williams and that one were the only two with
Those
sprinkler
were the only
systems?
two with, yeah.
With sprinkler
Yeah.
systems.
But see, like a few other areas that we're not involved in, but other places that are maintained by volunteers is the hospital. Julie Barilla.
Okay,
There's
that-
that
the one
that
behind the
large
hospital there.
court. Yes, it was developed to more because of the chemo unit.
Yes, which
For-
is back there.
But you can also see it from the hospital rooms
Yes, you
as
can.
well.
Yes, you can.
And so that's a huge area. And Julie Barilla and Debbie McNarney look after that one.
Okay,
But
okay.
I don't think there's any water system there either. So watering's a huge thing on a dry year,
I'm sure it is.
and it
Yeah,
I'm no doubt will become so in later in July.
right. So you need people just
We
to
need
assist
people. We need
with that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're watching this or hear about it, and you feel you'd have some time, you live close, perhaps you could run over and turn the water on and
Yeah.
turn it off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you need people that can just do that.
Exactly.
And take you an
Yeah.
hour to just be around.
it's just that being outside, the birds, the seeing the changes in plants, there's something really rewarding about it.
Yeah, rewarding is the right word, isn't it? Really, I'm sure that people that enjoy nature and enjoy doing this sort of work, it's very, very rewarding for them. Well, there's growth too. I mean, there's natural growth, I guess.
Oh yeah.
In fact,
And
you
it
call
makes
it so.
the community look pretty.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So, I would assume this is probably too soon to ask a question like this, but maybe your group would be, kind of looking towards the new hospital out there. There may be opportunities or whatever there for some people to do something in that regards. That would be another place that probably needs beautification when we get there in a couple of years' time. So, well, let's backtrack a little bit to the Garden Club and some of the projects or speakers or things you did during the winter. Marsha, you said you took your mum to one of them. Tell us a little bit about.
Last year.
Was it
Might have
craft?
been a year ago.
Yeah, we did a.
Tell me what you remember about it and how exciting, rewarding it was for you and your mum, you thought.
Yeah, well, I saw it on Facebook. We made a star Christmas wreath
Oh, okay.
at the Neepawa Library. I don't think it was this winter.
No,
it was
it
the winter
wasn't.
before.
Yeah.
And it was like a really cheap activity. I think it was $5.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a night out, my mom and I, and we each made one and visited, and I think there was coffee, and it was a nice evening. We
So
both
what
had a
was
good
this
time.
wreath made out of
It was wood and a star.
to start with?
Yeah, they were.
Were they like those paint?
No, not
Sticks?
paint sticks. They're shims.
Oh, okay, shims, yeah.
Shims. So inexpensive, and Tanis Brown had stapled them all together, so it was just really decorating it.
Decorating. So you
So we had-
decorated with paint or with what sort of
Greenery.
Greenery.
Like,
greenery, like Christmas
and ornaments.
greenery,
Yeah.
Christmas
Yeah.
greenery, artificial, I presume.
Yeah.
right?
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was
it was a combination. Some
Maybe
were,
it was a choice.
some were
Mine
art-
was fake.
some were artificial and some were real greens.
Were
I,
real
I
greens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that
Yeah, it
sounds
was a
like
nice night out with
So
my mom.
we've done wreaths, we've done centerpieces like that at Christmas. We've done garden art kind of activities.
Oh, okay, yes.
We're making wind chimes in a couple weeks, and so
Oh.
things just to augment the garden. Or
You're doing that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we advertise that? Like,
No,
No, okay.
that's a members only.
That's a members only.
Yeah,
all
you-
right.
Oh,
you
join
can-
and you can
You can
come.
join and you can come make some wind chimes, but
Well, for your $10 membership, as
Yeah.
you're going to get that value back in the first meeting
Well,
or whatever
yes.
you go to,
True.
perhaps, aren't you?
true.
So, I mean, it's a no-brainer in that sense. It's
Yeah.
not the membership fee shouldn't keep anybody away. That's
No.
for sure. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, that's good.
And then the other part, like aside from crafts, we've done educational days.
Oh.
We had an education day, April 10th, I think it was, or whatever,
Mhm.
falls on a Saturday. And so for that, we had different educational speakers. through-
Mostly local, or would there be a cost to kind of bring them in?
It was local, actually.
Yeah.
It was a hydroponic growing.
Oh, yes.
And that was Jeff Rolls, and Missy from Parkside spoke about new plants. We had, who was the third speaker? Leanne Dowd talked about Alice's Wonderland, her yard.
Mrs.
the de-
Mosers?
pardon me?
Is that
Alice
Mrs.
Moser's yard, yes.
Oh, Alice Moser.
And how she, Leanne's been regenerating that space.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
an amazing space, and all of Alice's little
So
touches
this is
in
out
there.
on the highway, or where they
Mhm.
lived in town?
Yeah, no, the place that didn't have a house.
On the highway.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pool.
All right. That's
had an
about a mile
indoor
or
pool, but-
so west
Yeah.
of Neepawa.
Yeah,
on
and
the south
really a
side.
place to see. Her peonies will be starting to flower now, and
Okay.
yeah.
So do you ever do like tours or something like that for the public and sort of? I mean, you're trying to get members and membership by offering things
Well,
to the public.
our summer meetings, I said, are usually at members' homes,
Oh, yeah,
so that we
okay.
can see each other's yards.
Right.
And we haven't done an official garden tour. Margaret Lawrence Home has a art in the garden
Okay.
coming up in July, and so some yards are in that, but
Oh,
I think
yeah,
it's
they
only 3 or 4.
They trip around, or
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
buy a ticket and go
Yeah.
to a different site.
Yeah, we
that
haven't
sort of
tried a yard tour. I'm not sure. Maybe
Yeah.
now that we've got more members, we'd be able to
opportunity. Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
opportunity. But
Well, we certainly want to get the word out. I'm sure there's people out there that don't know much about it, and this hopefully has had a chance to explain it a bit. And for your $10 membership, there's certainly lots of opportunity to learn some things and contribute a little bit back for volunteering as well. So your phone
but
number
you don't have to be a member
to
to
volunteer.
volunteer at a
Yeah.
garden bed.
So if you're little, don't want to be the
If you're-
member, then there's a chance there to volunteer, because we certainly need those
We do.
volunteers.
We do. And
there
it
to
could
help
be
out.
just a one-time thing, or
Okay.
it could be a weekly thing, every 2 weeks, whatever it is. Like, we can fit your work times, your vacation times.
Yeah.
My days are fairly flexible, so if it's somebody needing to meet and figure things out, then
Then you can
I could usually
do that. And that phone number once again,
476-0803.
0803 to
Or
get
you
a
can
hold of Glenda MacPhee.
Connect on Messenger too with
Yeah,
Facebook.
people can get you that way, I'm
Yep.
sure, and find out. So that, but those of us that are old school and use phones for phone numbers, then,
Yeah.
that works
I
for
should
that. Well,
I should say too,
Go
like
ahead.
when we took out perennials, and I got my space, I didn't know that it was a Brent's idea. Like, I learned about that after, and that makes it even more special for people to try to keep the gardens going in Brent's memory.
right.
And I had put on Facebook looking for if you have a perennial, which I learned, oh no, we can't do that because of the grass.
Oh, yeah.
We need annuals. And so there's been numerous people, you included, Dave and Myra, that have donated money or annual plants to help fill it in this year. So that was really appreciated. So that's another way people have volunteered, I guess.
That's right.
Okay, so the donations of, 10, 20, 30 bucks, whatever, is going to help to buy some flowers.
I
to
think I
do some
received about
beautification.
$140.
Dollars. And,
Yeah, to
okay.
buy all those plants. So
And that was through Facebook advertising,
Yep.
basically.
And we've had a number of very generous donations to add to that park as well that will be happening in the
Okay.
future. We've put up a new temporary sign because we've
Changed
renamed
the name,
it,
right?
changed the
You've
name,
renamed it
Brent
to
Hunter Memorial Park.
Brent Hunter Memorial Park. Okay, and it is
Yeah.
at the north end of Hamilton Mountain Street in Neepawa at Elizabeth
Right.
and Mountain is where
Yeah.
it is.
Just drive to the end and you'll see it.
And you'll see it there.
Yeah.
And,
So we've got hopefully a bench coming. We've got an apple tree, hopefully, in the plans, because the birch tree unfortunately has died.
has died.
Yeah.
Okay.
So lots of planning going on that aren't even visible, and yet the transformation of the park itself is
It's
just
happening. Well, that's
great.
quite exciting to learn. I didn't realize that it was, it's been renamed in Brent Hunter's memory, and I think that's a great idea and a great choice that you did there to do that. Thank you very much, girls, for coming in today and telling us a little bit about gardening in Neepawa.
Thank you.
So join us again for Coffee Chat for any of our next episodes. Glenda MacPhee and Marsha Forgue, my guests today, and I'm Dave Bennet. Have a good day.